Get ready, hold tight.
Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libos. Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
Just what the flipping Nora are you all lot doing?
I'm still in there. I'm still right behind him.
It was just a very well thought out tactical plan by Danny.
I want go!
I can literally feel the steam coming out your ears.
So it's like a fun little post-game snack.
For Wednesday Week!
Hello, welcome to the Wednesday Week. It's a preview show. Hello from the other side. And I'm joined by Adrian from the Liquidator Podcast, a West Brom podcast. How are we doing, Adrian?
Nice to meet you, Ash. Yeah, looking forward to the game as well. Early kick-off, which is never great fun, particularly for you away fans. But my daughter will be playing in the morning, and so I'm hoping for a double up. My daughter will be in goal for her team, and then hoping we'll get a win there and a win for the Baggies against you lot as well.
I've just got one little clip to play because my boss, Dan, will really have a go at me if I don't play it, and our listeners love it. So just bear with. Yeah, that's the well-known Wednesday Adele introducing our Hello from the Other Side podcast. So, yes, like I said, Adrian has joined us to preview the upcoming game, an away game. We're going to visit West Bromwich Albion. So, we'll get right into it. I'll tell you what, where we'll start, because all Wednesday fans weren't too happy yesterday when the 11 o'clock came and we didn't bring in what we thought the required players. So, Adrian, I've had a quick look at yours, and I tell you what, your January looks for pretty good reading as a West Brom. Not so good for a Wednesday eye. It seems you brought Adam Armstrong in lastminute.com.
Indeed. Well, I've got a book here just to remind me of all our ins and outs in the January window. I tell you, it's been quite amazing. But I think the thing that really set it off, the thing that has made this window for us, and it wasn't even confirmed when the window shut last night as we're recording this, was the signing on loan of Adam Armstrong. A fantastic record last season in the Championship. Played 49 games, including the playoffs. Scored 24 goals, assisted 13. Those are amazing numbers. And we've got him on loan, so I can't quite believe that. That said, we've lost a very good goalkeeper in Alex Palmer, who has gone to Ipswich. And no begrudging that. He's a kid who come up through the academy, had to wait a long time for his debut. Didn't really break into the first team till he was 26, having had a couple of spells out on loan, but he's been a revelation over the last two seasons. We've got Josh Griffiths coming in, who's an England under 21 goalkeeper, but I think Palmer is a very good goalie, so we will miss him. But we've had Armstrong in, that's a big signing. We've got Will Lancashire coming, could be anything, but he scored a goal in 6 for Spurs. His one goal was against Galatasaray. He's a big striker, quite a commanding striker. So we've got him on loan, and we've got a guy called Tamer Bainey from Randers FC in Denmark. It's one of those, isn't it? He could be, who knows, a genius. He could be anything. I don't know. And
I did do a little quick look, do a bit of research before the show, and I went on to West Brom, like, you know, the local reporters, and one of the reporters said that Bainey was on £40,000 a year at Randers, and now he'll be on something between £15,000 and £18,000 a week at West Brom. So his lottery ticket has just been stamped.
Yeah,
I think,
well, to be honest, I'm not sure he'll be on that kind of money. But you know, we've got new owners now, and we've had them in for a while, but we're still dealing with the overhang of our previous owners. And when our next accounts come out, it's going to reveal just how much we're struggling under PSR, you know, the spending restraints in the Championship. And I think my reading is that we had to get rid of Palmer in order to afford the fee for Tamer Bainey, or however you pronounce it. Other players we've got in, and we've already had a little sight of him. This was earlier in the window, was Isaac Price, who was on Everton's books as a kid, went to Standard Liège, played in the Jupiter Pro League in Belgium for half a season. Right. And then we've signed him on a permanent transfer, signed him on 4.5-year deal. But that's the direction of travel now, signing younger players, spotting the diamonds in the rough, as it were, like Isaac Price, like Tamer Bainey, and hoping that at least one or two of them come through, allowing us then to sell them on realistically so that we can then build the club. So, but definitely, despite the loss of Palmer, that is a good transfer window for us.
Yeah, and probably a bit of a stark contrast to Sheffield Wednesday. Yes, we've added Stuart Armstrong, so ex Southampton. He was over at Vancouver Whitecaps, I think they're called. We've added him, and we've also took Sissoko, who was on loan at Plymouth, who from Toulouse. So he finished his loan with Plymouth and he's coming to Sheffield Wednesday. We were desperate as fans to see a centre back. We are painfully short at the minute on centre backs. We've got 2 injured, probably still not going to be fit for anywhere near February. So we're looking at March. So we were looking for a centre back. It just didn't happen. It was no, it was nothing. It was just a normal Monday for us Wednesday fans yesterday, Adrian. I'll not lie. But obviously,
that's good to hear.
I was on the flip side. I was going to say you've just added a 24-25 goals championship striker on the last minute, and we didn't strengthen our defence. So
yeah, I've got to say we've added that striker to nothing because leading scorer Josh Madger has been injured for the last few weeks. He's out for a good while, and our other star striker is Daryl DK, who you may remember played for Barnsley for a bit and also played in the MLS. He's had a terrible run with injuries. So we've been playing with, we've got 2 very dangerous wingers, Tom Fellows on the right and Mikey Johnston on the left. But then we've been kind of playing with 2 false nines with Jed Wallace, who until Tony Mowbray came back to be head coach a few weeks ago, it looked like Wallace was finished. He looked like he couldn't run anymore. He's had a bit of a new lease of life under Mowbray, but playing as a false 9. And then behind him, Grady Diangana, who was amazing when we beat Portsmouth, who were dreadful, 5-1. But then at the weekend was his, I'm sad to say, all too familiar anonymous self when we lost to Plymouth, who I know they've improved a bit, but they're bottom of the table. And they beat us. So we desperately needed some additions up top. And Armstrong, as I say, I think has made our transfer deadline. But he is, at the moment, our only fit striker. Will Lancashire, the lad on loan from Spurs, I suppose you'd add into that as well. But we haven't seen him play yet, so we don't know what he can do.
We've got fit strikers, but we just can't score with them. I mean, Michael Smith is our leading scorer, scored again on Saturday, but from the penalty spot. But Ike Ugbo, our signing from the summer, is just not scored yet. And Jamal Lowe, who we signed from Swansea, he's having a torrid time as well. He's only got a couple of goals, so we're a bit light up front, but we're scoring in other areas. So that's a positive for us. You mentioned Tony Mowbray there, Adrian. He's back in football. Great to see, because I think he is universally liked by all football fans. Obviously, I don't speak for them all, but I think you lost Carlos Corberan as well, which must have been a bit of a kick in the teeth. Was it coming? Was it coming? Did you sense
you know what? It's a really hard one to judge, and I don't think I'd want to badmouth Carlos Corberan. We went to his first game in charge. My daughter, who comes with me, and it was at home to, dare I say it, Sheffield United, and the Blades beat us a couple of goals to 0 after Steve Bruce had gone. And on that weekend, it was an early kickoff. On that weekend, because of goal difference and other results, we ended up going bottom in Carlos Corberan's first game. He galvanised that team, a team that looked down and out, looked like it was heading for League One, and he organised them and he motivated them and he got them playing a certain way, and he inspired certain players to perform like they'd never performed before in an Albion shirt. And that season, although we missed out on the playoffs in his first season, he transformed the whole feel of the club. The second season, we made the playoffs. That was last season. We lost over 2 legs to Southampton. you can't complain about that. They were better than us. They were quite a way better than us. But we went into this season thinking maybe we can push on, maybe go for the automatics, and we started really well. But the reality is that we've had to cut our cloth. We've had to let quite a few players go, some of the higher earners. And realistically, I think a top 6 position this season would be a decent performance for us. But the way Corberan plays, can be very cagey. And after a couple of seasons, it was starting to lose its flavour a little bit. So although he'll always be respected and I at West Brom, and I think loved by most supporters, there was a sense there were so many draws this season.
Yeah,
it was getting a little bit wearing. Mowbray comes in, and of course we've seen him here before. He had his best spell as a manager at our club, albeit 14, 15 years ago. But we got promoted under him to the Premier League in a season when we scored 88 goals in the league. We actually conceded that season more goals than Leicester, who were relegated.
Oh, wow.
But it's such a contrast to Corberan, and there is a sense of gung-ho. And as I say, I don't want to belittle anything Corberan did, but it's just great to see a manager who wants to encourage players to use their instincts, to express themselves. So, but we don't know what we're going to get. We lost to Plymouth at the weekend. But in the previous home game, we hammered Pompey 5-1. So who knows? But you've surprised me this season, because I thought you'd be right up there. And I think since Danny Roll's been at Wednesday, I've always been slightly scared of you. I think there's a kind of an energy about Danny Roll's teams, in a way very similar to Mowbray. And I'm not quite sure why you haven't quite pushed on this season.
We've been... For me, we did preview shows of the season, and I was obviously really happy about last season's staying up, and I thought if we finished anywhere between like 10th and 14th, it'd be a good step up from last season, and then maybe next season go on. But been pleasantly surprised, been really good with some of the games we've played, but we have been guilty a few times of just dropping points. Dropping points on Saturday against Luton. Luton have been awful away from home, and we didn't gift, it wasn't a gifted goal, but they went ahead before half time, and the second half it was just different. We should have really beat them. We got a penalty, and it was just pressure, and we just could not find the winning goal. And it's games like that. We've had it with QPR, Oxford, Bristol City as well. Do you know, our home form has been a bit sketchy compared to our away form. Is a lot better. So that's where probably most of our positivity will come from for Saturday's game. But yeah, we're sitting, well, I've got the table here. So West Brom are your 6th on 44 points, just inside on goal difference to Middlesbrough. And we are 2 points behind you in 10th. And going into February, if we'd have said that last season that we were going to be 2 points off playoffs, I'm sure 99.9% of Wednesday Ice will have bit your hand off for that. So we're still in a good position, but with yesterday's transfer window shutting without any additions, there's been a couple of, obviously on social media, grumblings from the Wednesday fans about the lack of support and backup for the team, because we've probably got a real good 11, and it's just if any of those 11, especially defenders, get injured or suspended, or so we're going to bit struggle, so it's going to be a hard one. On the first meeting this season, I've got to say, West Brom come to Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday won 3-2. I've got to say, Adrian, the first half of that was one of the best first half I've seen at Sheffield Wednesday for a long time, especially where you were as well, top of the league at the time, and coming to Hillsborough, it was one of those where you looked at it and go, it's going to be an hard afternoon, but no. 2-0 up in the first half. Great game for us. Not so good for yourself, but
well, you stuffed us as well the previous season, didn't you, at Hillsborough? And I came to that game, and that was when you were kind of getting some momentum to stay up that season, and our team froze in the atmosphere, truthfully, at Hillsborough, and really had it over.
3-0.
Yeah,
3-0, I think it was.
Yeah, you stuffed us that afternoon. The only thing I've got to say is, and I say this, and again, forgive me, because this applies to both Sheffield teams equally. As an away fan, I love coming to Sheffield. I was actually a journalism student at Richmond College, which is now closed, in Handsworth, in Sheffield. And I can't tell you how many years ago that was. But I have to say, as an away fan, coming to Sheffield is always a joy. So I didn't come this season, but I went the season before and found a couple of very respectable boozers in Kelham Island.
Yeah.
And after the game, I had a great chat, despite the fact that we'd been thrashed with some Wednesday fans. There was a couple of lads and a young woman. And who knows, they might even be watching this or listening to this. And the young woman disappeared after a bit. I was with a couple of mates and, where's she gone? And they were kind of a bit nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Oh, she'll be back in a minute. She'll be back. Anyway, comes back 10 minutes later and me and me couple of mates, she's bought us a bottle of Henderson's Relish each to remember our trip to Sheffield. And it was just such a beautiful, spontaneous gesture.
Brilliant.
So, I do genuinely love Sheffield as a city. I love the people of Sheffield. And that kind of summed it up. Beautiful, really. So, that for me, there's all sorts of takes on how football is, but for me, that is what going to watch your team away is. And often it's a great day out ruined by the football.
you spending some time around Sheffield. You don't know what Henderson's Relish was. I'm sure your friends do, or were they like?
Again,
a shot of this or.
No, well, some people, I've got a couple of mates who've had mates in Sheffield who spent time. So, you either know it or you don't. But I was aware of Henderson's Relish and a big fan. But if she's listening, thank you very much indeed. It was. I don't know what I could buy her back in return. But it's a shame it's a 12:30 kickoff. What I would encourage Wednesday fans to do if they're travelling independently is. The West Midlands and the area around the Hawthornes is the centre, or genuinely the UK centre of Desi pubs. Now, if I say that phrase to you, do you know what I'm talking about? A Desi pub.
Desi pub. No, I could probably have a guess. No, I don't think I could.
All right, I'll make it easy. A Desi pub is essentially is a pub that's run by people of Indian heritage, and a pub that will serve food. The trademark dish is a mixed grill, a big plate of meat, essentially.
Ooh.
Lamb chops, shish kebabs, chicken wings, all on a sizzler, but with curries as well. But most Desi pubs are sports pubs, so there'll be big screens on, there'll be football banter, and they're generally great. I mean, the one that away fans tend to head to, the famous one, is the Vine, which is near the M5 Junction 1. But there's loads of great Desi pubs. And if you got time to spend an afternoon, I would say that within a mile and a half of the Hawthornes, there's probably 12 or 15 great Desi pubs.
Right.
Seriously. And so if you got the time to make an afternoon of it, do so, because it's the food is great, the crack is great in Desi pubs, very welcoming places. And I'd say, although like with any fan base, we've got some idiots. I don't think there's any fan base in the country that doesn't have them. Most Albion fans are welcoming, and if you're not an idiot, they're not an idiot. So I hope you have a great afternoon apart from the football.
Well, us Northerners, we do like his food and we do like his beer. So I'm sure that anyone listening to this, I can't make it, unfortunately, to West Brom on Saturday, but I'm sure some of the other guys from the podcast are there, so I'll pass it on. What your recommendations, Adrian? Right, I know we're going to be pushed for time because you're a busy man and don't want to keep you. I'm going to ask you for some sort of what I usually ask is as guests is how they see the game going to pan out on Saturday. So obviously early kickoff. What should we say? I don't know. Let's say West Brom have got the kickoff. Just a quick run through of how you imagine that it may go. And no doubt you're going to come around and say we're going to finish up 5-0 winners or something like that. But just
well, I'll tell you what
I usually do.
we will start in a rush. I think the ground will be pretty much sold out. I'm pretty sure it's close to a sellout now as we speak, and I know the Wednesday section will be absolutely full. So I think there'll be unusually for a 12:30 kickoff. I think there will be a good atmosphere. I think generally 12:30 is deadening it a little bit, but I think there will be a cracking atmosphere there. I think we'll kick off it as a rush. I think we might see one or two of our new signings in the starting lineup, and I think there'll be a real enthusiasm about the place. I think the window has given us all a bit of a lift. So I think we'll go at a rush. I think we might get an early goal, and I think we might get a second early goal. But I don't think it'll be a one-way game. So I think it'll be pretty tight in the end. But I think there'll be goals. So I'm going Albion 3-2, 4-2, something like that.
Oh, Armstrong hat trick.
Because
I've got to say, we're really jealous of that acquisition. I mean, it's not in our ballpark of being able to afford anyone like that. But yeah, when someone is going to hit the ground running on his first game at home against Sheffield Wednesday. So I'm always very positive. Sheffield Wednesday. I know I said about the game on Saturday against Luton. The first half was dire. Same against QPR as well the week before first half, but the second half was much better. And I know with what is it now? I think we've only lost one in the last 6 games, so we're in good form, and like we say, we're 10th. So I'm going to agree with you, Adrian, with goals, but I'm going to say 2-2. I'm going to put that. Okay. We do a predictions thing on our podcast, and we put it all out. All our podcasters do it. So I'm going to put my neck on the line to 2-2. And even though we're pushing for playoffs, I think we'll be happy with a draw. Even though we do need to beat you to catch you, but I'm going for a draw. So I think it's going to be an entertaining game. Like I said, goals. We both said goals, so I'm going for a draw. Adrian, you say 3-2, 4-2. So. Get them on your coupons, everyone. If
I am the world's worst predictor, by the way. World's tipster. So don't listen to me. Don't listen. It'll probably be 0-0 now.
Yeah, from both of us. It may be. Everyone, thank you very much for tuning in and listening. I'm going to take a little bit of a line from one of my favourite podcasts.
Ash, hold on a second.
Sorry, go on.
I just wanted to show you as well. Look, my Sheffieldism is not.
Oh, yeah.
What have I got underneath here? Can you make it out? Hey, it's me Richard Hawley T-shirt.
Oh, Richard Hawley, yes, I can. I was
Richard Hawley T-shirt, massive fan. Anyway, go on. I was interrupting you. That's very rude.
No. As long as it wasn't a red and white shirt underneath that, or blue and white stripe one you've got.
Never.
No, what I was going to say is it's a pleasure, Adrian. Thank you for joining us, and just to anyone who's listening for our podcast, if this is the first time. And like I said, I'm going to take this saying from a favourite podcast is don't make it a one-night stand. Let's make a relationship. So come and tune in again. We're every week. We're live Monday nights at 8 o'clock. So Adrian from the Liquidator Podcast, thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And we'll see you all soon. And hope Adrian goes home unhappy on Saturday.
Likewise. See you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
He came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there for podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday Week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.